In these problems, we're being asked to multiply some one-digit numbers. So in this case, 9 times 6 and 8 times 5. And presumably they want us to do it without a calculator. If you had a calculator, you could just punch those in and get them. And these are the sort of the basic multiplication facts that really what your math teacher wants you to do is just memorize these and have these come automatically to your brain whenever you see them. And if you're not quite yet there, don't worry about it. You can get there. The more you do this, the easier it'll happen. I mean, you might just memorize them by accident if you do a lot of math. But there are some tricks to make it easier on you as well. So first of all, multiplication is really just successive addition. So if you were stumped what 9 times 6 was, you could just add 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. You could do that, and you know how to add. You might have to do it in a couple of steps to make it easier for yourself, but you could do that. Or 8 times 5, you could add 8 5 times. If you happen to have a multiplication chart handy, you could just kind of look them up, right? So here are the multiplication facts for numbers 1 through 10. And let's see, 9. So I'd go to the 9 here and go over to the 6 column. It looks like 9 times 6 is 54. And let's do that for 8 and 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. So you could just get your answers off that table as well. Ideally, they'd like you to memorize this. And I just want to say this looks like a lot of numbers if you don't have it all memorized yet, but really, you probably have a lot of this memorized even if you don't have everything down perfectly. For example, the ones column is easy, right? Anything times 1 is itself. So you already know this. 1 times 1 is 1. 10 times 10 is 10. The twos column, you probably can count by twos pretty well. And if you want to know what 2 times 6 is, you can just count off by twos 6 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Boom, there you have it. 2 times 6 is 12. Threes, probably a little harder that way. And, a good way to get better at your threes is just to practice counting by threes and see how fast you can get at it. Probably wouldn't take you very much practice to really get good at that. The fours, well, you can take the twos and double it. So we know that 2 times 6 is 12. Double that is 24. So 4 times 6 is 24. I'm going to come back to the fives in a minute, but the tens, another really easy one. I mean, you don't really have to memorize anything here. You just add a 0. 4 times 10 is 40, 4 with a 0 on the end. So you've got all of these. And if you've got the tens, you have so got the fives because it's just going to be half of the tens. So if 1 times 10 is 10, then 1 times 5 is 5. It's half of that. If 4 times 10 is 40, well, then 5 times 10 is going to be 20. 5 times 4 is going to be 20 because it's just half of that. If 7 times 10 is 70, then 5 times 7 is going to be half of that, which is 35. So, if you got the tens, you probably got the fives. The tricky ones to me are the sevens and the nines. And some of those sevens you are just going to have to work on memorizing. 7 times 6, that's a tricky one for a lot of people. That's 42. 7 times 8 is 56. That's a hard one to remember. Now the nines, I've got a trick for you. And actually, first of all, there's a pattern in here that you should know about. All of the nines, the digits add up to 9. So 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. And you can see the pattern here. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it goes in the opposite direction here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So there is that pattern to notice. But if that's not enough, there is this thing you can do with your hands that I just want everybody to know about. So let's see. Our problem up here was 9 times 6. So here's what you do. You put your hands out in front of you and you think about them numbered starting on the left with your pinky all the way through your other pinky 1 through 10. And if you're whatever number you're multiplying the 9 by, in this case we're multiplying it by 6, so 9 times 6, that's the number of the finger that you just put down. You put that one down. And then you look at what's left and you count what's on the left and what's on the right. So here are 5 fingers. And here are 4 fingers. So your answer is 54. 4. This really works for every one of the 9s. If you put a 3 down, you'd have 2 and then 7 on the other side. If you put a 4 down, you'd have 3 and then 6. We've got 27, 36. So feel free to practice that and use it for those 9s that can be a little bit tricky. So we just answered this one with our finger trick. So 9 times 6 is 54. 8 times 5, I suggested you should think about 8 times 10, which is 80, and then divide that in 2, which is 40, half of that. So boom, 8 times 5 is 40. So whatever method you use here, maybe a combination of methods, practice is going to make this come easier and easier, and I wish you good luck.